J.K. Rowling, stop coming for me. Now over the 20,000 word mark in this story. A physical representation of the brainstorming I've done. Oh no, it just deletes. Yeah, not a fan. Hey guys, I'm Kate. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another edition of my I Tried Writing Like series thing. This one is especially interesting for me because growing up, J.K. Rowling was like my hero. I wrote Harry Potter fan fiction. It's also what got me into writing my own original stories. It was like a stepping stone for me into the journey of writerhood. What? From her own FAQ on her website, she says that she starts writing at 9 in the morning and it is currently 8:35. Basically for her, the earlier she starts, the more productive she feels she is. And JK and I have that in common. I usually though start at 6 because my brain toward the afternoon is just like, So this is gonna be a little bit different, a little bit interesting. We're gonna see how I feel come 2 in the afternoon because she works until 3-ish. That's about when she's just like, she's done, she needs a break. And she says that she consumes approximately 8 to 9 cups of tea, which, you know, challenge accepted. She also munches on popcorn because she figures that's the easiest to eat while working. I did go and buy some popcorn. Oh, let me get it. I bought kettle corn. I feel like that transition does not work when you saw me run out of the room, but it's okay. We're just gonna keep it. Now, something that has been kind of a recurring theme, I feel like, is the setting in which the person writes. These authors, they all believe that, like, you know, you should be able to write anywhere, but also they're quite particular actually about their own personal setting. And J.K. Rowling is no exception. Now today I'm actually going to be writing in this room. I will touch on that a little bit more in a bit, but tomorrow I will be writing in a coffee shop, in cafes, because J.K. Rowling famously wrote much of the first bits of Harry Potter in a cafe, which if I do ever visit Edinburgh, and that is pretty high up on my list, like I'm closing in on Edinburgh, but you can bet that I will be going to the Elephant House Cafe. Ooh, yes. Now the thing she enjoys most about coffee shops is just kind of like the ambient noise and being able to like watch other people go about their day. And I do think there's something very awesome as a writer to like be an observer of other humans, and I think cafes are kind of the perfect place because you can switch from your own characters to then like the actual world and like vice versa. And like I'm always someone who's like imagining scenarios in which these people came from, and then I like to also imagine fantastical things that these people could be doing with their lives that obviously they can't be doing because sometimes my imagination involves, you know, dragons and, you know, assassins. I mean, I guess they could be an assassin. Let's hope they're not assassins. Where am I going with this? Oh, yeah. I talked about what I'm doing today, and I'm staying here today because J.K. Rowling has said that now she's so famous, she's so well known that she can no longer write in cafes the way she used to because now all eyes are on her. And I think that's something about just like this whole aspect of fame that would be so disarming. So instead she has her writing room. She says it's her favorite room. It is like in her garden area and it has very few distractions but all the essentials. A way to make tea, basically. I have a house and a backyard that you can see into, and I have a little puppy dog that if you are existing in the same space as him, he doesn't like to be left out. So I'm just working with what I got today. Now to truly get started writing like J.K. Rowling, it is time to get some tea. I do already have some black tea brewing that'll eventually be iced tea, but this morning we are going to go for a good peppermint tea. Yeah. Now the other reason I really wanted to try J.K. Rowling's writing routine is that besides it being just oft requested, her actual writing process is much different than mine. I mean, just first up, she plots. Like, she's pretty famous for the amount of plotting that she's done. I'm talking like full-scale drawings, plotting by hand, outlining, world mapping. Let me quote something to you. From this book, Harry Potter's Bookshelf, The Great Books Behind the Hogwarts Adventures, there is a quote. Speaking with the South Australian Advertiser, Rowling said, I really plan quite meticulously. I know it is sometimes quite boring when people say to me, I write stories at school and what advice would you give me to make my stories better? And people's faces often fall when I say, you have to plan. And they say, oh, I prefer just writing and seeing where it takes me. Sometimes writing and seeing where it takes you will lead you to some really great ideas, but I would say nearly always it won't be as good as if you sat down first and thought, where do I want to go? What end am I working toward? What would be a good start? J.K. Rowling, stop coming for me, okay? I do usually like to just start writing and seeing where it goes. I don't think she would consider what I usually do having a plan. Like, I think she would be like, that's an idea. Now, especially Rowling is known for using this sort of table format to do her plotting with. Ooh. Here's that quote again. I really plan quite meticulously. No shit. Now, I actually think this table form looks really fascinating, and I'm excited to attempt to copy it for my own story that I'm working on, which is a fantasy. So, you know, I hope it works. That would be, how freaking awesome would that be if this is something that works for me? Because I have had timeline errors in the past. I actually bought Aeon Timeline to do much of this stuff. And in the past, I have made an Excel spreadsheet, which Joe, because we're best friends, which Joe does transfer her hand-drawn tables like that into a spreadsheet eventually. Now, I had to make a spreadsheet for Project Purple when that was being a butt in the revision process. I think I did something similar, at least at the beginning, where she has around the day and the date and the time, but then she does a whole lot of different stuff on this end, so I'm excited to kind of play around with what her table format is. Also, much to my chagrin, it seems like she does write mostly by hand and then transfers that to the Word document. For those of you who have watched the I Tried Writing Like Neil Gaiman, you know that like writing by hand is just not my favorite means of doing it, but here I am. I'm gonna try again. So we'll see how it goes. What do you think, bud? You ready to write like J.K. Rowling? No. Yeah. Oh. But it is now 9 o'clock, so it's time to start writing like J.K. Rowling. My mint tea, by the way, is delicious. So I actually left off on a particular scene last night in my Camp NaNoWriMo project in the Meridian Maps #2. So I'm going to go ahead and start drafting right now. Oh, you came up on a different screen. Okay, we're going to pull you down here. There we go. So I'm gonna finish this scene, but I will be doing it by hand instead of on the computer, and then I will transfer it, and then I'm thinking after I finish the scene is when I'm going to start with making my own table. Wow, I don't know which I'm more apprehensive of, the writing by hand or the table. I'm almost out of pages in this thing. All right. No. I finished writing that last scene. We have now successfully smuggled the people that needed to be smuggled from one location to the next, so that's good. Now I just need to transfer these words to there. Welcome to this edition of Can I Read My Own Handwriting? Where I see how many words I struggle with. Just for fun, I think my plan is going to be to circle all the words I have trouble with my black pen, and we're just gonna see how that goes. All right. Everything transferred, and I only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 circles where I couldn't understand what I wrote. And you know what, to be fair, having done it so immediately after, where I wrote it down and then I immediately transferred it to the computer, I still remembered what I was going for. So even though I couldn't read it, I just came up with another way to say it. Let's see, that was a total of 500 and whoa, oh no, it just deletes. There we go. A total of 546 words. And for the record, it is practically an hour gone doing it this way. It's just because I write so slowly, like my hand, it just hurts. I don't like it. I'll say though that like there was something nice in the immediate review, because it takes longer for me to write by hand. So that in itself makes me think over the words a little bit more than I normally do when I'm doing my zero draft. But then when I'm going to transfer it to the computer, I once again think about the way it should be worded. So I'm sure this results in like probably a cleaner draft, but for me, because so much of the stuff could potentially change, it's not really worth making the draft as clean as it can be. At least that's been my thought process for right now. Though the way J.K. Rowling does it, if you have a whole timetable and you're like pretty sure of the plotting, maybe you would want it to be as clean as you can possibly make it. All right, let's pull up her thing again so I can get a better look at this table. First, I have actually finished my tea, so I think it's time for some more. Just gonna have to pee so much today. We're gonna go for my iced fruit tea. I know she has numbers down here, which I can't tell if that's like the number of scenes or the particular chapter, but she does have the time frame and the title. Plot, Prophecy, Cho/Jenny, Dumbledore's Army, Order of the Phoenix, something about Snape, and then Hagrid and Grob. So basically what I think this is doing is that we're breaking things down into one main plot category and then the subplots that are woven throughout the story, and we need updates on them for each of the chapters. I think is how she's doing this. Yeah, I'm pretty... Oh, hello, that's very up close. I think this is how it's going. I'm going to set mine up like her, even though I don't know that I will use all of them, like the title, whatever. But like that, I do kind of title my scenes, so this will help me at least, even if the actual titles aren't there. So, okay, I think I got it. Ooh, mean straight lines, not great. We are set up and ready to fill in this weird ass spreadsheet. Okay, so the number of the chapter, the time period, and again, I do mine by moon phases, kind of like with the lunar cycle, since a lot of my story is based off of the ocean and the various beliefs of the countries that are all different, but you know, one of them at least where my main character Annalisa is from is Monsoria. It's an island nation very much governed by the sea, and you know, the whole moon and the sea together thing. So for me, just go by the moon. I got my main plot, which is going after the Meridian maps, then the whole smuggling ordeal, and then back at like what the F is up with Monsoria and Draskin and like the other countries that are about to go to war. So I got, and now I just have to fill it in. No big deal. Oh my gosh. So my actual camera is currently preoccupied uploading some of this so I can free up space, but I'm trying to start filling in my thing. And oh my God, something clicked. Ooh, I'm so excited. Basically just figured out the method that something's going to happen by. So like I knew the reason, I knew the who, I knew everything but the exact how. And now I have it tied in with something else, and the more stuff you can tie in all together, the better. So I got it. Oh my God, yay. Literally again, all I've actually managed to do is titles. Anyways, I don't know why this helped, but it did. And you know, once again, is it that this helped, or was it always just kind of in the back of my brain waiting to come forward? Yes, okay. Now there's only like, you know, a couple more images left to transfer, so hooray! I'm gonna keep working. So this has been actually, have like a lot of blanks still to fill in, and definitely the timeline. It's still, the time is a mystery. I have 2 things that I know I want to have happen at a certain phase in the moon cycle, but after that it's like I'll actually have to go back and count out an estimate of how many days that would then correspond to which, anyways. But I did come up with something that was actually more of a relationship between characters thing, and it's something that I've been, again, building toward, but now I have a particular kind of like back and forth scene of dialogue in mind that I'm really excited to write. Oh yeah, the end of this book. I'm just so excited. This took a long time though. I should say that. What time is it now? It is now 11:34 a.m. This is the thing about plotting and brainstorming and why I wanted to work my Camp NaNoWriMo time in minutes, because all of this has been pretty helpful, minus the parts I already just knew. But like, I think once I fill in the whole thing, it'll be really helpful. But obviously it's not actually any additional writing that's gone onto the page. Though I will say that I like having this sort of thing as like a physical representation of the brainstorming I've done, rather than just sitting here and occasionally jotting down notes in my notebook, which I do all the time. I'm gonna put you right. But there's something about having a whole big ass like page of timeline spreadsheet document style thing that I'm into. I'm into it. I didn't think I was gonna be into it, and I'm way more into it than I expected. Yay. So I figure I'm gonna finish my third glass of tea with lunch. I wasn't actually able to find what J.K. Rowling eats, also it didn't look that hard. You're not getting any of this. You a silly pepperoni. You so silly. No, hi. So I think the plan's just gonna be to see if I add anything to this while I eat. It's probably a no, but. All right, so I didn't actually add anything, but I did finish my tea, I finished my food, and I posted to Instagram. So you know, productive, right? But it is now time to start working on a new scene. I am, I feel like this tweet from J.K. Rowling said it best. The wonderful thing about writing is that there's always a blank page waiting. The terrifying thing about writing is that there's always a blank page waiting. On to the blank page for me. I am really excited to start the scene because again, it's kind of like what I was adding to my table here. Like all of this work is from stuff that I haven't quite written yet. It's always one of those things where I do stare at the blank screen for like an additional 5 minutes. Like I feel like it always takes me a little bit longer because when I return from a writing session, there is always some amount of time where I'm like, oh yeah, I have to remind myself where I was at. But the blank screen is always like, yeah, ooh, okay. My hand hurts. You know, I'm figuring if that last one, if this amount got me almost 600 words, then I'm probably at 1,000 now. I think I'm at 1,000 with that one. Yeah, not a fan. I think if I ever do any of these others I tried writing like, and they write by hand, I'm just gonna have to skip that part. I don't wanna do it, I don't like it. Maybe this is just a sign that I should work out more. Can I work out my wrists so that they're stronger? Oh my God, I'll work out so that I can be a better writer. But right now it is 1:07. I have, I guess, less than 2 hours now to finish up. So far, so good. I feel like, I guess I'm just gonna type up the rest of these words. I stopped mid-scene, because I really just could not take it anymore. So I think what I might do instead is if once I'm done typing these up, I wanna continue writing the scene, I'll just type it. Yeah, but I do think it's also time for a snack. A kettle corn snack. I really want to try that transition again, but I feel like this might be dangerous. We're gonna try though. Nailed it. Any kind of food I can get behind. Writing by hand, no. Popcorn, yes. And you know what? Strange timeline table thing, also a yes. Good choice, Joe. All right, I ended the scene with 923 words. I mean, I ended typing most of this up and then I added in a few things that were in the black. So 923, and actually, oh my God, I'm so excited. Look at this. I am now over the 20,000 word mark in this story. Yay! I had never written a sequel before this July, and now I have 20,000 words in this sequel. Can you believe it? Huh? Can you believe it? I love you so much. You're so cute. Yes, you are. It is now 2:11 p.m. So what I think I'm going to do instead is I'm going to take the pup outside and I'm going to continue to work on and fill in my own table. And I think that'll probably take me through 3 o'clock. It just takes so much more thinking to do all this, which is good though, because it's caused me to have 2 revelations that I think were way worthwhile. So, okay, pup, you ready to go outside? Go ahead. No. All right, Duke is still enjoying the outside. No. Oh, but it is, okay, so now it's 3:05. That does mean that technically the experiment is over for today. All in all, I mean, I got almost 1,500 words for the day and honestly, like a shit ton of plotting done. So in that respect, it's a super successful day. When I think about how much work I can theoretically get done in 6 hours in a day, this doesn't feel as substantial. But again, I'm just looking at this thing and my goodness, okay, so you can see I still have a few more blocks to fill in and debate about filling in, but like also obviously I have this entire time section that needs to be fixed still, but I could just not stop looking at it. Like, this was great. Tomorrow, I'm actually going to start the experiment a little bit early and I'm going to be doing it in the coffee shops. I need to be back by a certain time tomorrow. I'm having to like kind of do this experiment around some meetings. I will be in the coffee shops dabbling with this little table and seeing if I can't write more. I do think for tomorrow I'm going to forego writing it down unless I find I'm stuck, and then I do think there's something about the slightly slower method that is handwriting for me that might help, but yeah, it's just not for me. It's not for me. So I'm not gonna record as much tomorrow. That way I can really like try and live the experience, just be J.K. Rowling for a day, and we will see how it goes. And then I will report back at the end of that and give like an all-encompassing feeling about this experiment. Also, my nose is so red. Oh my goodness. I was outside, maybe it's like windburn. Do you wanna come inside? Okay, you wanna come inside now? Come on in. Alrighty, we will both see you guys tomorrow. Good morning. Is it time for the camera to go in the bag, pup? No. Yeah, it's time for the camera to go into the bag. And we're back. So overall thoughts on this experiment is that J.K. Rowling, much like all of the other authors I've done, have worked for about 6 hours a day. Some did more, some did a little bit less, but overall they're spending a fair chunk of their day working on writing in their books, but they're not spending an exorbitant amount of time doing it. I think because there's only so much creative energy that you can use during a day, I think that's what it is. Handwriting, confirmed, not for me. When I was working in the coffee shop, I got 1,037 words. And then I did manage to fill in a couple more spots. I did it in purple so you could see the difference what I added today. I still need to work on the timeline, like the actual time aspect of it. There are still some spots that haven't been filled in, but to be fair, J.K. Rowling's own table had sections that weren't completely filled in. So I think that's okay. For me, a lot of the time, it's just like more a continuation of what happened in the last chapter or scene into this one, so there was just no need to write it again. You know, the thing that I think would be really interesting with this is if I was plotting a book for the first time, I think I might have had different results. I like to write the story in order to learn about the story. I think this is doable for me for a sequel, but probably not for like the first book in a series or when I'm really doing like an exploratory sort of draft. But it was really cool to like feel like I was vaguely like my childhood hero for a day, you know, like though we're almost the same. But please do comment down below. Let me know if you would ever make your own table like this. Let me know if it takes you a while to start writing once you're just seeing the blank page. And does the blank page tend to excite you or terrify you? Or is it really like J.K. Rowling says and it's just kind of both? Let me know what sort of fan fiction you wrote when you were younger or that you still write now. I guess it's like a dream of mine someday to have someone write fan fiction about one of my stories, so let me know if that's also like a weird dream of yours for your stories. And finally, please do comment down below and let me know who you'd like me to try writing like next. And let me know who some of your childhood heroes were that were authors, and let me know who your other childhood heroes were. Were they sports stars? Were they other kind of artists? Yeah, just let me know. I have all the questions. But that is gonna be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you especially to some of my new patrons this month: Kobe Mendoza, Gwendolyn Conrad, A. Howard, Rin Willis, and Jordan Fijihin, and I will see y'all all very soon with a new video. Bye. Blank page waiting. The wonderful thing about writing is that there's always a blank page. What? What?